Hello, everyone. I'm Brian Custer alongside my partner, the All-American Jim Jackson. And Jim, every game today has playoff implications.
And you couldn't script it any better if you're Ice Cube and Jeff Quadnitz in the league, because now it comes down to the final day before we get to the playoffs to see where everybody's at. You saw that big lump right there. Team seeded with records 4-3, could be 4-4. That destiny is in your hand. Take care of your business. Let the chips fall where they may.
All right, let's take a look at the rosters. They are brought to you by State Farm Insurance. Hey, the Ghost Ballers, they're one of those teams that Jim's talked about, 4-3. With a victory, they keep themselves in the playoffs hunt. And the Triplets, they're the top seed in the league right now. Just one loss, led by Joe Johnson and Al Jefferson, and of course their head coach, Lisa Leslie. Let's talk about Joe Johnson, the league's leading scorer. And look, he's got more game winners than anybody.
But this has been spectacular throughout the whole year. I mean, Joe has brought an essence of talent, leadership, and then the ability to hit the big shots, the game winners when it counts. I'm talking about a 4-point shot. So he's added so much value, not only to his team, but to the league. Impossible to stop. The key for him, and I think for the Triplets, win your games, stay healthy, get ready for the championship.
And just as important to the Triplets is Joe Johnson, is their head coach, Lisa Leslie, Hall of Famer, WNBA Champion, 4 Olympic Gold Medals. In fact, just this week, nominated for the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Hall of Fame. And the Ghost Ballers, well, they have certainly turned things around after a horrendous start and going 0-3 at one point. They have won 2 straight. And listen, find themselves right in the playoff hunt with a victory.
Well, here's the difference with Ghost Ballers. It's not just Ricky Davis controlling the tempo, scoring the ball. It's spread across the board. Everybody is contributing. When you have that, now you become tougher to defend, okay, harder to guard, and now it's not on one player's shoulders. And that's been the difference in these last 2 games with the Ghost Ballers. They found their niche in regards to how they need to play as a team.
Keep your mind on this here when you talk about the Ghost Ballers. 3-0 when they have at least 3 players in double figures, something you just talked about, Jim Jackson.
Yeah, and, keep in mind, the Triplets are in the playoffs. We know that. But what they're looking for is the #1 seed. How do you get the #1 seed? You win this game, because if you stub your toe, power wins. Now power, because of the win against Triplets, they move into that #1 position.
That ball knocked away from Ricky Davis. But it will be Triplets basketball. Triplets in the blue, Ghost Ballers in the silver. Here's Joe Johnson, spins. Tried to drop a dime to Al Jefferson, knocked out of bounds.
And let's keep our eye, too, with Mike Bibby guarding Joe Johnson, especially when he posts up, how much help is going to be dedicated to getting the ball out of Joe's hands.
Has a turnover on that pass to Johnson. So back to the Ghost Ballers and Mike Bibby. Look how big Mike Bibby is. Mike Diesel, as we like to call him now.
Well, you're going to need a lot of that weight if he's going to battle Joe Johnson inside.
There's Ricky Davis. Ricky Davis was the scoring champ last season. And the leading scorer for the Ghost Ballers, knocks down the first 2.
And see the quick double team that time by Davis, leaving Anderson open. And you kind of live with those shots early. If Anderson makes it, you don't want to panic.
Bibby for 4. Gets his own board, kicks it to Ricky Davis. He misses the 3. And Joe Johnson, the floater, too strong. 2-0 to score. First team to 25. We go to the half. The lob to Chris Johnson. Stolen by Joe. Double pumps. And Joe Johnson will go to the line.
Joe right here anticipating the contact is going to come from Johnson. That time kind of flips it up, turns his body. Important for the Triplets, as you know, Brian, at times they have started off, the first half slow, where they've been down early. Then they have to kind of struggle and fight their way back in. What you don't want to do is kind of get down to this Ghost Ballers team early, because they're playing with an extreme amount of confidence right now.
Johnson, shot blocked by Al Jefferson, and he lays it right back up and in.
That's the kind of rim protection you need. I mean, excellent play inside with the pick and roll, but that time Jefferson able to recover and take away that easy 2.
2-point lead for the triplets. And it's the dunk by Chris Johnson. Johnson, a former triplet, so he has got a lot of revenge on his mind, he said, for this game. We're all tied up. Here's Alan Anderson from the corner. Johnson snags the board, and he can shoot from the outside, knocks down the jumper.
And that's an added dimension that I think you look at the improvement of the Ghost Ballers with Johnson. He gives you one. We saw the slip, pick and roll, dunk inside, but his ability to stretch the court now opens it up for driving lanes for Bibby and for Davis.
Here's the 4 by Joe Johnson. You saw for the Ghost Ballers. Look, they get a win. Kill the threes. You play later this afternoon. They lose. Hey, Ghost Ballers wrap up a playoff spot. Here's Chris Johnson for the 3. And now ISO Joe. Drops a dime. Anderson lays it in. And the bucket.
And see, this is all brought about because you're paying special attention to Joe Johnson right here. Ricky Davis falls asleep because he's eyeing Joe, backing Mike Bibby down, and smartly, Alan Anderson, what do? You don't stay stagnant. You cut to the baseline, able to get inside, connect, and see if he can complete the three-point play.
Alan Anderson knocks it down. And the triplets up by 1. No secret, Joe Johnson, leading scorer in the league, also second in assists.
Well, you saw that dynamic pass that time, and Joe has been known throughout his career playing point guard, but also being able to facilitate.
Bibby from deep. The block by Johnson. And he wants it in the post. Little step back. Got it. Pretty. Chris Johnson, the former triplet.
You know what I love about that play? He knows that he can't back Al Jefferson down, but what he can do is use that soft touch on the block and knock down jump shots like that.
Here's Anderson for 3.
See, they'll live with that jump shot with Alan Anderson. They just want to get the ball out of Joe's hands.
Al Jefferson on the block. Once again, 1-point lead for the triplets. Ricky Davis, pull-up pop. Yes, sir. Pretty Ricky's what they call him.
Yeah, the excellent pick that time by Chris Johnson up top. Ricky Davis smartly used the pick, escape dribble, for a nice little 15-foot jump shot.
Had a season low 8 points last week as Alan Anderson went right down Broadway. Since we're in Dallas, down the tollway.
You know it, baby. North and south. I spent many a days on that tollway, brother.
I'm with you.
You know it. Always good to be back, man.
Go, Chris Johnson with authority, and he'll go to the line.
Yeah, Chris is playing with a little bit more spunk right now. He has a little. You talked about him looking forward to this game as a reason why, because he was part of the triple. He got moved over, and again, I don't care if it's big 3, if it's. I don't care what it is. You don't like to get traded, and you want to prove that you shouldn't have been.
First team to 25. We go to the half, and right now it's the Ghost Ballers with a 1-point lead.
Ridiculous. 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 Everybody in the front, everybody in the back, let's go. Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
1-point lead for the Ghost Ballers. They're trying to wrap up a playoff spot with a victory. Let's take a look at our Dove Men Plus Care career bio on Ricky Davis. Pretty Ricky is what they call him. Last year's scoring leader in the Big 3. Does a great job on the court and off the court, feeding the homeless in every city he's in. He's with our Michael Rappaport.
All right, unprecedented access. Ricky Davis, Pretty Ricky's what they call him. You guys need this win to make the playoffs. What are you going to do to close this puppy out?
We just got to make shots. Make Joe take some tough shots and, get everybody involved and do our thing.
How much of a problem is Joe Johnson?
He's a habit. He's a headache. We just got to make him take tough shots. Send multiple people at him. We'll be all right.
All right, well, keep doing your thing. It doesn't go unnoticed, all the work you're doing city to city with the Big 3 feet in the homeless.
I appreciate it, Mike.
Right, have a great game, Rick.
For sure.
Pretty Ricky is what they call him.
Yes, they do. You read about that, Rap. And he does a great job. He was out feeding the homeless just yesterday here in the Dallas area and does it every city that the Big Three goes to, Jim.
Yeah, well, it's unbelievable. I think it speaks volumes with the growth and maturity of that young man and kind of what the game of basketball has done for he and his family, and he wants to give it back to people who are less fortunate.
Offensive foul on Al Jefferson.
You see inside, Joe, hesitation to fake. Big Al, another pump. Mike Bibby, wrong place, wrong time. But he ended up getting that call for him.
That one knocked away from Ricky Davis. Ghost Ballers will keep the basketball. Ghost Ballers have won 2 straight games to put themselves in playoff contention. Here's Chris Johnson. Ball fake, drives, the kick out, Davis. He shoots it, knocks it down. Ricky Davis. Three-point lead for the Ghost Ballers. First team to 25. We go to the half. Anderson from the corner. And he's been cold from 3. Yeah. Anderson third in the league in three-point shots made.
Yeah, and he's getting open looks, and right now not able to find the rhythm and not taking advantage of the double teams that are focused on Joe Johnson. Again, Ghost Ballers going to live with that until Allen can knock some shots down. If not, they continue to run their offense. Ghost Ballers are now in a position where they're up 5.
Ricky Davis is cooking right now. Here's Anderson. He finally gets that 3 to go. 2-point lead for the Ghost Ballers. CJ. To Bibby. Bibby back to Johnson. Going up top. You don't want none of that smoke. Chris Johnson putting the hammer down on his former squad.
A little pick and roll. Empty the corner. You have to honor Mike Bibby coming off because he can knock down the jump shot. And again, the extra dribble allows Chris Johnson to have space. The pocket pass on time, on target. And Chris Johnson doing his thing.
Well, you want your sports news without the yelling, the fake debates, then stream CBS Sports HQ. The free 24/7 network for non-stop highlights and news. Download the CBS Sports app today. Ghost Ballers just 7 points away from the half. First team to 25 as we take a listen in. Lisa Leslie talking to our triplet squad.
Yeah, so you don't forget to pick a side with the ball. Come on, we all right. Hey, listen. Listen. The score is 14-18. We all right. Just fight, okay?
Lisa Leslie has her triplet squad, top team in the league. And so prepared. I mean, these guys have 16 plays that they have that they use throughout the game.
But also the demeanor, the discipline that she has as a coach. She had as a player. Now it reflects well with her players on how they respond to her coaching.
Here's Jamario Moon, one of the newest members of the triplets. Guarding Alex Scales. From up top, the 3, no good by Solomon Jones. Double pump, and layup, no good by Mike Taylor.
And Mike is going to give you a lot of energy right here when he gets on the court, right there. Joe has the advantage, but Mike, a little pesty right there.
Yes, he is.
He knows it.
Mike Taylor has the second most 4-pointers made in the league, behind Joe Johnson. He's got the rock right now. Pull up, pop, yes. Oh, in and out. Rolls out. Here's Alex Scales. They're going to call that hold on Joe Johnson.
And keep in mind, we talk about the playoff picture a lot, Brian. The top 4 teams are the ones that really compete for a title.
Right.
So you need to be in that top 4 in order to really compete. Now, the top 6, you know, now you're positioning yourself from a money perspective, but that's why it's so important for these games you talked about today.
That three, in and out. Oh, Jamario Moon went high and came down on Mike Taylor. Ghost Ballers in the midst of an 8-3 run right now.
Taylor shaking up a little bit right here. Just look at two players kind of going for it to get tangled up, and right there at the end, Jamario comes down awkwardly on Mike Taylor's, I think that was his left knee, but he's up walking right now, which is a good sign.
Ricky Davis, Allen Anderson, your high scorers, both with 8. Davis with 8 for the Ghost Ballers. Anderson with 8 for the Triplets. Here's Sergerio Gipson. He'll inbound for the Triplets. Iso Joe spins and just powers his way to the hoop.
But again, it's smart. Here it is. What Joe did, you got to understand, he posted up a little bit higher on the block. He knew the double team was coming from the top, so he didn't allow it to come. As soon as he caught the ball, he spin baseline. He knew the help wasn't there. He was able to finish inside.
Taylor high off the glass. No. Gipson open for 3 with that left hand. Yeah. Sergerio knocks it down, and it's the Triplets all of a sudden who've taken a 1-point lead.
Well, Lisa Leslie talked to her team, said we're only down 18-14, and now this Triplets team is on a run. It starts with Joe Johnson inside, recognizes he has a mismatch. More importantly, he recognizes that the baseline is open. No help to come to finish.
And with a victory for the Triplets, well, they wrap up the top seed here with playoff starting next week in New Orleans. The Ghost Ballers, listen, they need a victory to stay in that playoff hunt and clinch them a spot. Let's take a listen into their huddle.
Mike, you gotta go.
The Iceman, George Gervin. You know, only Will Chamberlain and Michael Jordan have won more league scoring titles than the Iceman, who had 4 of them in his playing days.
You know, one thing I appreciate, too, about the league is that the coaches, as you saw in that huddle, allowed the players to kind of communicate with each other, talk about defensive strategy, offensive strategy, so the players have an ownership position in what they do on the court.
There's Jones, the jumper. No good. Jamario Moon clears the board. You heard Iceman tell Mike Bibby, guys, it's time to go. You got to go, Mike Bibby. I need you. Here's Joe. Laws him to sleep. Pull back for 3. Money in the bank. Joe Johnson.
And that time, Solomon Jones had to give Joe a little bit of room because he didn't want to get beat off the dribble. But it was just that little that dribble that Joe had up top, that rhythm dribble that let him be able to feel secure enough to knock in that 3-point shot.
Turnover by the Triplets. They throw it away. They're 3 points away from the half.
Here we go. Watch it going fast. Watch that pass. Come on. Come on, Moon.
Layup good by Scales.
Motion low. Motion low.
2-point lead.
Low. Come this way.
For the Triplets.
Come this way.
We can go to the half with a made 3. Here's Joe Johnson, Ricky Davis. Step back, Joe. You better ask somebody.
But, you know, sometimes you just got to live with the result because the defense was pretty good by Ricky Davis. You didn't want Joe to drive, but that step back, raise up, he's 6'8". I mean, all you can really do is contest the shot and hope that he misses.
And hits another one as we go to the half. I'm telling you, he is no average Joe. The Triplets with a 7-point lead as we go to the half, thanks to Joe Johnson, who all of a sudden now in double figures with 12.
Well, the sense of urgency to close out the half, to go in the half with momentum. Put the ball in his hands. Joe will either score for you or make a play happen for his teammates.
Triplets in the half on a 13-2 run. They've got a 7-point lead at the half, looking to lock up the top seed here in the Big 3.
Big 3 Basketball on CBS Sports is sponsored by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM. VH1 Basketball Wives. New season. Check your local listing. And by Toyota. Let's go places.
We're in Big D, Little A, Double LAS. It's the final day of the regular season. Big 3 basketball. The Triplets, the top seed in the league with a 7-point lead over the Ghost Ballers. Hello, everyone. Brian Custer alongside Jim Jackson. You look back at that first half, Triplets shooting nearly 50%. Thanks to the league leading candidate for MVP, Joe Johnson, who got 12.
Well, give him a lot of credit. They got down early. Ghost Ballers came out with a little bit more energy. But when you have a dynamic player like Joe Johnson, he does so much for you offensively. He attracts so much attention. His decision-making is what separates him from the other players, not just ability to score.
Well, he came into this game basically 12 points or 14 points away from the single-season scoring record. And right now, he's just 2 points away from tying that. He's no average Joe. He's with our Michael Rappaport.
All right, Joe Johnson, you guys are the top seed right now. What are you, Joe Johnson, Yoga Warrior, going to do to close this puppy out and head into the playoffs?
We just got to continue to play hard, man. We got to try to outwork these guys in the second half and try to come out victorious.
How aware are you of the fact that you're about to break the Big 3 scoring record? Are you aware of this?
No, I'm not aware. No.
Is scoring always come easy to you as a kid? Like, when did you know, like, you could just have your way with, like, let's say a guy like Jimmy Jackson, he's guarding you. He's nothing to you when he's in front of you, correct?
That's my man. That's my man.
Okay, but anyway, he's your man, but when he's guarding you, you're like, this is easy work.
Yeah, I think I can score anybody.
Including Jimmy Jackson.
Talk to me.
Okay.
So he's always starting mess, isn't he, man?
Hey, Mike, I mean, what's your problem, man?
Always starting mess.
I mean,
come on, man.
Always.
I'm not gonna let him do you like that.
It's all good. Joe was that's my young fellow when we were in Phoenix. You know,
you mentored that man.
That's right. That's why he's playing like this. It's all because of me. I'm taking credit. His career took off when I got to Phoenix. Just track it, okay?
That's how we Ohio boys do it.
That's right.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm not gonna let Mike Rappaport treat you greasy like that.
Mike a hater, man.
Jamario Moon lays it in. Triplets up 9. Here's Ricky Davis, knocked away, but there's a foul. Sergerio Gipson.
Yeah, but very critical right now for Ghost Ballers because this is where the league can just stretch and you kind of start to have self-doubt because you played well. You thought maybe you're going to have with the lead. You didn't. Now you come out in the second half and you have to figure out a way to cut into this lead, get that momentum back, get that confidence back. Because we saw in the first half, this Ghost Ballers team can be successful and can put points up on the board, but they don't turn it over.
Johnson snags the board. Got it back. That's talking about mouse in the house there for Chris Johnson. Turns, jump up, throws it in. Oh, what a day it's been for Chris Johnson.
Hey, man, sometimes it's better be lucky than good. And that was a prime example right there.
Here's Joe. Lost it. Ricky Davis lays it in. You talk about cutting into that lead. All of a sudden, it's just 3.
Well, you take advantage of the team you're playing against, your opponent's mistakes. And right here, we see a couple opportunities that Ghost Ballers were able to capitalize off of.
Here's Jamario Moon. He'll shoot the 3. Yes. Triplets needed that one.
Yeah. Good teams figure out ways to respond. We saw that at the end of the half by the Triplets. It's a reason why they're, #1 team in the league thus far is because they've been able to respond to the challenges that have been put in front of them.
Bibby to Ricky Davis. He knocks down the jumper.
He loves that 15-foot jump shot. But one thing I love about Ricky and Mike, they played so well off each other. Ricky maintained the spacing right there, and Mike knew exactly where he was going to be.
Here's the drive by Joe.
Yeah, Chris Johnson frustrated that time because he knew he should have been in the paint right there to take that drive away. Jamario Moon was in the corner. Allow that kick pass to come out. There's one thing you don't want. You want Joe to beat you, just like he did with an easy layup inside.
Joe Johnson is now tied this single-season scoring record in the Big 3. Rashard Lewis set it a couple seasons ago when he was MVP at 170 points. That's what Joe Johnson has now on the season. Ricky Davis, shot blocked by Joe. Shot clock violation. 6-point lead for the Triplets. Here's Jamario Moon. Back to Sergerio Gipson. He's going to try the 4. Got it! 4-point shot by Gipson. And the Triplets lead bulges to 10. They're looking to wrap up the top seed. They're up 10 in this Big 3 ball out in Big D. Well, tomorrow, the Big Brother campers are locked in a battle for power. Who will slide into a victory and who will be up for eviction tomorrow on a new Big Brother. 10-point lead for the Triplets over the Ghost Ballers. Joe Johnson, Ricky Davis, you're the leading scorers, both with 14 right now. There's a reach in on Gipson. Here's Chris Johnson now, working on Jamario Moon. Pull up, got him, Chris Johnson.
Actually, pretty good defense that time by Jamario Moon. Johnson again showing that buttery touch right there from about 12 feet.
Yeah, he's now got 14 as well. Jamario Moon, the 3, yes! Moon with back-to-back threes.
Complete team. I mean, this Triplet team can beat you in so many different ways, whether it's Al Jefferson on the post, Joe Johnson kind of doing his thing, and now Jamario Moon stepping in and knocking down some big 3-point shots.
Ghost Ballers now with 2 guys in double figures. Again, they are 3-0 when they have 3 players in double figures. Right now, just 2. And this man and Chris Johnson. Here's Ricky Davis. Woo! Look at that. Pretty Ricky. Let's go to the 3rd member of our team, Michael Rappaport. He's on the Ghost Ballers bench.
Unprecedented access with Ghost Baller. Mike Taylor here. Mike, what's going on with your knee?
I mean, the doctors checked it out. Everything is good. Just a little. I landed with Moon landing on my knee, just kind of bruised a little bit, but I should be good. I should be good.
All right, I see your front game is official today. You got the whole front in here. All right, you guys need this win. What are you guys gonna do to close this puppy out?
We gotta fight just a little bit more and make open shots. Defend Joe Johnson and the rest of these guys. Hopefully we can pull it out.
All right, well, good luck. I hope to see you back in this game. I want to see you healthy for the playoffs. Fellas, that's what you call unprecedented access. You don't have it, I do.
No, you know what that means? That means that you're so accustomed to sitting on the bench that you're real comfortable sitting on the bench with teams. That's your access.
Joe Johnson is putting on a show in Big D. Triplets are 2 points away from victory in the top seed heading into the playoffs next week.
Yeah, but this is the kind of performance you want if you're Lisa Leslie. You want a dominant performance going into the playoff. You want to reiterate your position as the best team in the league. You want Joe to kind of get his money, but you want the complementary players, the secondary players, to also come out and have an impact, as we've seen this afternoon.
They could have sealed it with that alley-oop a little too high for Jamario Moon. Well, he would have had to jump to the moon to throw that one down. Here's Chris Johnson. Got it. Lead is 10. Once again, point game for the Triplets. Joe Johnson, he's got 19. He averages 22. He's scored over 20 basically every game. Here's Gipson for 3 and game. The Triplets win it. They're the top seed heading into the playoffs next week.
I just said a dominant performance. The ability to spread the wealth on this Triplet team, where it's not just Joe Johnson. You see Gipson right there knocking down the jump shot. More importantly, you're able to get out of this game, if you're Lisa Leslie and the Triplets, healthy. That's what you want when you're going into the playoffs. You want the health of your unit, mentally, more important, physically, to be there so you can compete for a title.
And another thing that Coach Leslie talked about is because they have some new pieces, she wanted to give them some playing time, especially with the playoffs right around the corner. They are the top seed, and I'll tell you right now, the leading candidates for MVP and Coach of the Year, Joe Johnson and Lisa Leslie, and they're both with Michael Rappaport.
All right, Lisa Leslie, Joe Johnson, you guys are 7-1 heading into the playoffs. What are you going to do to maintain it, to try to win this puppy in Los Angeles?
Basically, it's just about taking each game one at a time. You know, the fact that we're getting into the playoffs is 0-0, so nothing that we've done matters. It starts over, and so we really have to look at who we're going to get matched up against, continue to be prepared and over-prepared, and just doing the small things. I mean, obviously having the greatest player here with Joe Johnson on the team is very helpful, but he's such a great teammate. He's a great leader. He's always in the gym. He's always working out. He's ready, and so to have this type of leadership is contagious, and so our team is a team effort. And all I can say is congratulations to you, Joe. It's so great to be able to coach you.
Joe, you've been coach. You had a storied NBA career. It may or may not be over. What is it about Coach Leslie that you've enjoyed, that you've learned from this season?
Her preparation for the game. Obviously getting on us when she feel like we kind of losing it. Like she quick to correct us, and I always applaud her for that, because although we've been winning, we lost one game. It's easy to come in every weekend and just be kind of relaxed. But, man, she makes us work. So.
All right, well, guys, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in New Orleans and then hopefully in Los Angeles. Congratulations on a great regular season. I'll see you in the Big Easy, guys.
Right. Thank you so much.
Rat, thank you very much. Joe Johnson, 19 points to lead the triplets. Ricky Davis, he had 20 for the Ghost Ballers, but it wasn't enough. The triplets will be the top seed in the playoffs. We got more action coming up here on CBS.